Hi everybody, Jo here again. So you know what that means. Time to grab yourself a brew and let's have a catch up. Today I'm not actually going to do a full project. What it is a couple of ladies have emailed me and asked about the new Elements ink pads. So I thought I'd have a bit of a chat with you about them and explain what they are. And so if I just put them to one side, for any of you who have got the Colourbox ink pads, now Tracy uses Colourbox a lot on her gel press, and that's purely because the Colourbox inks, they're a dye-based ink, so that means one of the ingredients in the recipe, as it were, is water. But the actual mixture of pigment, which is the colour, to water is great. So there's a lot of pigment, less water, which made them great for the gel press. Now, a few of you will know that the company that made these stopped manufacturing them. So Tracy, in her wisdom, decided, obviously we need more. So now we have Lavinia Stamps themselves make these new, and I'm going to see if I can bring the full range of colours, make these lovely Elements ink pads. Now, I'm not sure if we can get all the colours on, but I'll give you a bit of a selection. So there are 12 altogether. And so basically, as I say, they're called Elements, made by Lavinia Stamp. They're a dye-based ink pad, but again, they're highly pigmented. So that means you're getting an awful lot of colour. Now, the easiest way to understand it, and again, I'm not giving you any textbook. You know me, I just talk one crafter to another. So the way I always think is, in my head, I've got two types of ink pads, just in general. I've got the permanent ones that when I stamp are permanent and don't move. And then I've got other ink pads that have got water in them, which means I can move them by adding more water. So basically, these are your dye-based, and that's the case. But because they are highly pigmented, I will say I find you have to just go gingerly with them, because basically they're strong colour, which is perfect, what we need. So we've got a full range of colours. I'll just roughly go through them. So if I pick the yellows first, we've got a lovely Sundance and a Sahara. And I've got to be honest, I've been using the Sahara a lot. It's sort of a browny yellow. And then let's have a look. We've got, speaking of brown, there's a Truffle. That's a lovely colour as well. Mind you, they all are. Followed by a Henna. Oh, Merlot. Use that a lot with my Christmas designs. Paprika. I think the hardest bit must be finding the names for these. A couple of greens. There's an olive and a pine. Oh, there's a nice mulberry. That's a sort of, well, I was going to say mulberry colour. Sort of a browny reddy colour. And then onto the blues. A mermaid and a blue lagoon. Great for those underwater cards. Then a graphite, which again, I've got to be honest, I've been using this a lot. I'm really into grey tones at the minute, and this graphite is lovely. Now, as you can with other dye-based inks, you can stamp with them. But one of the ladies recently has had problems using them on her gel press. So I thought we'd just do a very quick gel press demo just to show you. So I've got my round gel press here, and I'm using my large All and Create. Sorry, that was bad English, wasn't it? My large All and Create block. As you know, I find it's just easier for me. And I'm going to grab myself a piece of my Multifarious card. And I'm going to grab two colours. Let's go for a blue and a green. And a piece of copy paper to clean old Billy Brayer. Now you can use a piece of card if you want. I'm just going for copy paper. And let's go for the green first. Now, they are oval ink pads, so my suggestion is I would just ink up this part of the brayer, just that part of Billy. And I'm just going to, you can see, look how juicy that is. Now, I've got to be honest, when storing them, I would always store them flat and this way up because they're so juicy, you don't want any leakage. And I'm going to bring my gel press in, and I'm going to start here and work roughly to the middle, but I want to go just over the middle. I'm not going to go backwards and forwards because what I want is I want the most colour here and less in the middle. So I'm going to start here. Look, as I say, you can see how highly pigmented they are. Look at that colour. Look, lots of colour. And then by the time I come into the middle, I want there to be less. And I'm almost lifting my brayer slightly higher when I come to the middle because I want less ink there. Let me check I've got plenty on that edge. And clean my brayer. I'm going to turn, just because I find it easier. I'm right-handed, so I find it easy working right to left. And I'm going to ink up with the blue. Like I say, you don't need a lot. And the same thing, I'm going to come in from the edge, look at all that colour, and go into the middle and almost a bit lighter over that join. Nice and easy over that join. Now, you could fuzzy it a little. If you were really struggling, one little tip is you could take even a piece of kitchen roll, or you could take, say, like your green smoothie and just dab it across. But I'm happy to go with what I've got. And what I'm going to do is, I know we do a lot of techniques with brush-os, but just to show you how this works, I'm just going to actually use my fan brush. Got a nice dab of water there, haven't I? And I'm just going to put water on. And we'll see what result we get. As I say, we will do, and I'll do more where we're going to use brush-os on it. But just for this quick demo, we're just going to use water. I'm going to bring in a piece of card, and I'm going to turn. Let me just dry that up a little. I just don't want too big a splodge when I put it down. Now, when I turn it over, this I can position. I want it in the centre, so let's put it in the centre. Press down. And do you know what? I just love watching this. And look at the effect we get. And this is just water. But look at the richness of the colour. That's your Elements ink pads. And again, obviously, the more you press, the more you get these cells spraying, look. And then I tend to just turn over, give a bit of a rub and peel off. Now look at that. And for me, where I've got, can you see here? I've almost got, well, to me, that looks like a hill. I mean, I would be really happy with this. And in fact, I will be stamping that up and making that. I think that's going to make a lovely scene. But it's nice, see how we've got the blurred edge here? So again, a lot of it is practice. If you're struggling, just keep practicing. But it does help to go over the middle with your brayer and almost angle it a little bit more. And if you really struggle, like I say, get yourself one of your smoothies or a blending tool and just stab it in the middle. But let's hope that answers that problem. Now, you can also brayer with these. So I'll grab another piece of card. And the fact that we've got blue on here, let's just carry on with the same blue. Now, when you're brayering, now, as always, as you remember, I was scared of using the brayer for many years. Now, what we're going to do, ink up. And the best way I found with these, because they are so juicy, we're just going to blend it on our craft mat to start off with. And that's blended. I mean, look at the richness. There's so much colour there. And then I'm going to come in and just start brayering. Now, look at that. I've picked some water up. And that's because I've picked up, when I spritzed it, look, I didn't clean that water up. But you know what? We're just going to carry on and go for it. And that is going to be clouds in my sky. That's one of those, dare I say, happy accidents. Got to pick some more blue up here, work my way along. Remember to loosely hold your brayer. Now, like I say, a lot of people would stop the recording and do that again so it's perfect. But it's important I show you. So this is here where I had a few speckles of water. But I think, because that's going to be my sky, I think I've almost got some clouds, or, I've got to be honest, some we've got some UFOs there, haven't we? But that to me is just going to add detail. So honestly, I will keep that. And let's just brayer some green from the other side. Now, I am going to clean my mat. Just because look at all that. As I keep saying, so much colour in there. Now, the inks work beautiful through your stencils. Sometimes some of the colours I've found do stain my stencil a little bit, but it's no problem. I mean, they work the same whether they're stained or not, but me being me, I like them clean. So I've got to be honest, I just, little bit of soap and water, washing up liquid, something like that. I mean, sometimes just normal water will get them clean, but sometimes I say depending on the colour, just the highly pigments. Now again, just brayer it off on there, and then let's bring some green coming up, and this is going to be ready for me to stamp up. This is going to be a landscape. Again, one lot of ink, don't need any more than that. And what I will do is with my fan brush again, I'm going to come in. And what you'll find is because they're highly pigmented, your faux bleaching works beautifully. So we'll add a little bit of that, and that will dry really well for my background. So I'll put that to one side. Again, give my mat a bit of a wipe. And the last thing I just want to very quickly talk you through is that they're very good for edging round card. So if I grab myself a small piece of card, and we'll go for the, let's have a look what colour sponge have I got. Brown. So let's go for the Sahara. And again, my suggestion here would be always dab off on your mat. As I say, highly pigmented, dab on your mat, and always start on the corner where you want more colour. Now, you know when you're doing this, you should always have your piece of kitchen roll so you don't get, especially when you've got dirty fingers. And all you're going to do is come in, circular motions, but look how rich that colour is. If you don't take any off on your mat, you may just end up with too much colour, it being too deep. And because I've taken it off on my mat, look, I can pick the colour up all the way around and keep blending. Again, just pick this colour up. Let's just have a quick look how we're doing. Yeah, a bit more blending there. So you can blend around the edges. Now again, for me, I would come in with my water, give that a bit of a flick. And you know what? That's a border ready. I tell you what, doing this video is great. It's giving me loads of backgrounds and borders ready. But look at this, starting already. And the last little thing, you can watercolour with them. So obviously you've got your paintbrush in your water already. I mean, even this look, I could pick up, let me look for, got an odd piece of card, pick up and watercolour beautifully. You can add your mica powders to that and make it sparkly. So much you can do with them. I mean, you can stamp with them. Don't forget that. Obviously, you won't get a crisp image because it's not your VersaFine, but you will be able to stamp with them and get an image. Very nice, the foxes. You can add colour to your foxes. So many things you can do. Now, I'm just going to clean that up, and I just want to show you this as it's drying. Now, I'm just going to give it a bit of a pat, but look at that. Now, for me, that's a lovely background ready to stamp on that. So that's your Elements ink pads. Lots of things you can do with them. My one word is, remember, highly pigmented, lots of colour. So make sure you almost bear that in mind. So do your extra blending, you know, stamp on your, if you're going to use them through your stencil, they work great through stencils. But again, dab some ink off on your mat first and just pick it up. Use your mat as a little palette. They're my suggestions. Now, anybody who wants to do a workshop, I've just released workshop 8 on the online workshops, and that's using the Elements inks pads for this one in the background. So if you want practice using your elements with your brayer to make a background, that's the card that we're going to do. Okay, so I'm just going to say bye for now. Just let me think. I'm not sure if that is the card. You know, I just had a little thought then. I may have just told you, I've just told you a porcupine. That card was using the Elements ink pad, but that was a workshop card. This is the card that's workshop 8. So you see, I need to rewind. What am I like? So again, it's just using different colours, but it's using the Elements ink pad, and we're going to brayer, we're going to use it through the stencil to make this design. So if you fancy that, just drop me an email. Now, I told you I was getting confused, didn't I? I told you my memory wasn't working. Do you know, I think I'll go and have that nice coffee now. I think it's one of those days. Do you know what, everybody? If nothing else, I must make you feel better. So, for those who've got the Elements ink pads, I'd love to know what you think of them. And like I say, anybody who's got the old colour box and is short of a few colours, Lavinia sell the elements and they are replacing them. Lovely, lovely ink pad. As I say, lots and lots of colour. We're going to be using these for years. So I'm going to grab that coffee now. Take care, everybody. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.